comes to food, so many words are tossed around. Organic, genetically modified, processed, the list goes on.
They're complex words, Carl. By the year 2050, the world's population will boom to 9 billion people with so many mouths to feed. Wow. It's hard to imagine how we'll source enough food. Now, we're going to have a forecast for you in just a tick, but first, let's take a look at how our eating habits have changed through the years.
From factory farming to the abundance of today's processed foods. The way we eat now is very different to the way our ancestors did. Stress, busy lifestyles and the lure of advertising has increased the need for fast food, paving the way for fad diets. 60% of Aussies are either overweight or obese, so we're losing the battle of the bulge. But in recent years, we've seen a health and wellness revolution, with thousands of foodstagrammers taking to social media to share what's on their plate.
So how will the way we eat change in decades to come? Let's ask Futurist Chris Riddell, who joins us now live from Melbourne. G'day, Chris.
G'day, guys. How you doing?
Very well. So by 2015, the population expected to top 9 billion. OK, so how do we see the future of food supplies? That is a lot of mouths to feed.
It is. It's enormous. And by the year 2050, we're actually going to have to double food production just to be able to feed everyone on Earth. And the worrying thing is, at the moment, we're actually wasting about a third of the food that we produce in this world. So we're going to have to do something pretty radical.
Yeah, that is the modern day tragedy right there. Now, you're predicting like a food hierarchy system, similar to what we saw in Mad Max, where you've got to fight over your steak. Is it like that?
We are. Look, we're going to have this two-tier food system unless something dramatically changes. We're going to have to get some fairly serious political intervention to be able to shift this. The first tier is going to be this highly processed, very cheap food, which has no consideration to the planet whatsoever. It's also very, very cheap, as I say. The second tier food system is going to be much more locally produced food, so much more expensive but locally accessible, higher quality, and also then more organic in nature. But we're going to have to see that shift change quite a lot in the next few years.
So just in the next 20 years, that's what they're predicting?
Yeah, exactly. In the next 20 years, it's crazy.
Wow. OK, so as the population grows, so does the demand for meat. How will suppliers meet the demand for meat?
Well, we're actually seeing a couple of companies work on this. One is just called Beyond Meat, based out of the US. They're actually producing this synthetic meat. It looks like meat, it tastes like meat, it feels like meat, but it's not actually quite the real thing. The interesting thing is, obviously, from a sustainability perspective, we're not eating animals, so it's an interesting way forward. There's a second company called Hampton Creek Foods that are actually working on the same thing as well, and it's getting some good traction.
Is it good for you?
Well, this is the worrying thing. As humans, we're designed to eat natural produce and natural products. This stuff is obviously more synthetically made, so there are some question marks around how actually good this is for us. But it's something that's being looked at. It's something people are eating, so we can guarantee this will start to come on our plates as an option and in the supermarkets in the next few years.
Yeah, wow. Hey, what about those Jetsons? What about the Jetsons? They were ahead of their time. You remember they used to have the meal? It was like they just take a pill. Is that a possibility any time?
Yeah, look, there's this product called Soylent, and it's actually this powder and pill form that you can actually take. The interesting thing is here, it's designed obviously to give us all the fuel and nutrients that we need as human beings, but intrinsically we eat for pleasure, we eat for social reasons as well, so it hasn't actually got that much traction yet, but you can see in the future this might be something that humans would be interested in, is to take these pills to give us everything we need.
They're going to have to work on the name.
Yes.
I'm not going and buying a box of Soylent.
Let's talk about vertical farming.
Yeah.
We're seeing this in Singapore. Take us through that.
Vertical farming is interesting. We actually talked about this a while ago, and vertical farming is this very urbanized approach to bringing farming closer to our cities, so that this whole land grab thing that we're working on at the moment actually starts to work a little bit better for us. It's around building farms within towers, office blocks, within the buildings that exist within our cities. It's also around using artificial intelligence, so computer controlled systems, to be able to monitor and manage all of these systems to get really fresh produce right on our doorstep, even if we're in the middle of a city.
Wow, OK, so we've got a lot to look forward to. Meat that's not meat and meals that are called Soylent. Good on you, Chris. Thank you, mate. Good to talk to you as always.
Guys, have a good one.